Today I want to share with you a bit about my brand new nature journal that I just started, and it's a perpetual journal, which is a method that was devised by a botanical illustrator named Lara Gastinger, who lives in Virginia, and I actually got to meet her this summer, which was really awesome. But she came up with this method of journaling where you basically divide up a journal by date ranges, so you could decide that you want to illustrate something every week or maybe even every day if you're super ambitious, or maybe even once a month, and you pre-write all of those dates depending on what kind of time window you gave yourself. So I gave myself a week for each page, so I'm going to do just one quick nature observation, whether that's a plant or an animal, every week. And then at the end of the year, you start over again. You go back to that date range. So at the end of 5 years, I'm guessing that this journal will last for about 5 years, maybe not. And some of these are getting a little bit big. Yeah, at the end of that, you have this really cool journal where you can see what you noticed during the same week, during all of these different years. And my goal for this is to do more observation from life. I'm really excited about dissecting more plants so that I can understand a bit more of their anatomy. I'm excited about doing some more life drawings of animals because I often work from reference photos so that I can get them really, really detailed and accurate. But for this is just a personal journal and a way for me to learn about my surroundings. So I'm looking forward to doing a lot of life drawing. In the first week, this was 3 weeks ago that I started this. So in the first week, I illustrated a snowdrop flower, which is a small little white flower that's non-native. It's native to Europe and Asia, but it's really lovely, and it grows really early in the spring around here. So at the beginning of February this year, it was out in full glory in our backyard of our little rental house here. So illustrated that, and I found adorable little petals on the interior that have little perfect green hearts on them. And I thought that was really fun because I made that discovery right before Valentine's Day, so that was pretty cute. Last week, my observation was of another flower that is growing in the backyard. It's called winter aconite. I think I'm saying that right. The genus is Aranthus, and it's a beautiful yellow little short flower, about 2 to 6 inches tall. And like the snowdrops, this flower opens up on bright days and then closes up on cold, overcast days. So it's been fun to kind of see them change from day to day. And then this week, I'm pumped about this observation. I was getting ready to go for a bike ride. So I was in the garage and I noticed a little salamander wiggling across the floor, and it was all brown except for a thick red stripe down its back. And it was a pretty small, maybe 4 inches long salamander. I'm pretty sure it's a red-backed salamander, but I need to look that up, and that's what I'm going to do during this observation time.
So I made a little temporary home for the salamander using a bit of damp moss from the yard, and now I'm going to bring him inside to sketch for a few minutes before releasing him. Out of curiosity, I flipped a couple of rocks that I found near the garage, and sure enough, there were a few more of the same species. So some of the fun things that I'm learning today about red-backed salamanders include that they are the most common woodland salamander in West Virginia, and they have a huge range throughout the United States. They feed on invertebrates like ants, spiders, beetles, snails, termites, and centipedes. They are lungless salamanders, which means that they breathe oxygen through their skin. They don't have lungs or gills, which is why I wanted to make sure that the salamander had some damp moss while I drew him. And I learned that mating occurs in autumn and spring, and about 10 eggs are usually laid in May and June. This week I did find about 8 or 10 pearly white tiny eggs under a log in our yard, and they do look very similar to red-backed salamander eggs, but it's only February, and that would be extremely early for them. And I asked around a bit, and people are saying that they might be toad or snail eggs. Having this salamander up close is really amazing because I'm able to see him from all the different angles and really watch the way that he moves. Something that surprised me about him is that his throat and neck pulse up and down, similar to a toad. Also, his head is very pointed, and I'm guessing maybe that's for burrowing in loose soil. The body has lots of little segments down its side and tail, and there are 5 back toes and 4 front toes, according to the internet, although this one is so small that it kind of looks like 3.5 front toes. So the red stripe goes all the way down the back, and it kind of fades to brown on the head. Some redback salamanders actually don't have this red stripe, and those ones are called lead-backed salamanders because the whole body is the same deep brownish, bluish black color of lead. And as I look closely at this, I'm also noticing lots of little dark speckles up and down the red stripe. When I flipped the rocks a little bit ago, I saw a tiny baby salamander that was about 1.5 centimeters long, so I'm sketching that one here too. It was missing its tail, which is really interesting because these salamanders can drop their tails when they're threatened to distract their predators, and eventually they will grow back a new one. Okay, it's time to let this guy go since he needs to stay moist in order to breathe, so I'm going to put him back under the nice big flat rock where I found the others near the garage. I think one of the most interesting things that I learned today, one of the most surprising things, is that the Smithsonian has records of red-backed salamanders living up to 25 years in human care. And I just feel like that is a surprisingly long lifespan for such a little critter.
So yeah, thanks for joining, and I'll see you next time.